So I decided to record this video before I go to bed and put my clothes to the dryer because the washer is still washing them. I wanted to show you guys the update to my plants before the washer's done, and I gotta say this year is gonna be the best season when it comes to growing, okay? Because when I had these containers out like 2 seasons ago, I bought the cheap soil in Home Depot, which was a big mistake. And the results were very poor. And then the following season, which was last season, I went back to hydroponics. And hydroponics is cool, but it's a bit of a pain in the rear end because I had small totes, even the big totes. When these plants start growing, you had to fill up the water, and at that time I had my own little baking thing going on, and it was a pain in the ass to come back home from work and filling it up. And there's no way I was going to do it with this job I have, especially now that I'm getting 12 hours. So 12-hour shifts. So I decided to go back to soil, but after doing some research, I went and got certain ingredients like vermiculite, perlite, compost, and I measured everything. I did my research online, and I decided to make my own soil upon discovering that I could get free compost and mulch at a certain landfill. There's a couple of them around LA, and the only thing I spent it on was vermiculite and perlite, and the gas for going back and forth to picking up the compost and mulch. The biggest spending I would have wasted was compost. I've always wanted to make my own soil a couple seasons ago, and that's the reason why I went to hydroponics. Because back then when I was trying to see, I seen videos of people showing how to make your own soil, and I'm like, and they're talking about it's so cheap and all that, but those videos are old, and the prices now have climbed up, especially for compost and stuff like that. From what I've seen, the prices they shown back then and the prices now, and I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to spend so much money to make my own soil. This is ridiculous. Whether they mean that it's cheap, etc., etc. And then I went to hydroponics, back and forth, soil. I bought cheap soil, which was a big mistake, like I said at the beginning of this video. Then I went back to hydroponics last season. And then after discovering the landfill that has free compost and mulch, I did more research and I decided to grow it. And these are the results. This season is one of the best seasons I'm ever going to have, because the Black Beauty tomatoes never bear this much tomatoes in previous seasons. As let me show you, every flower is growing a tomato now. Before, when I used to have like a vine that had like flowers, I probably used to get like maybe 2 tomatoes out of all the flowers. Most of the time I would be lucky if I got 3 tomatoes. But this right here, I'm growing, each flower is bearing a fruit. I have on this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 1, 6 right there. And over here, more are coming out. Same thing over here. I'm also giving it a specific type of fertilizer that will make it grow more flowers and more. I got more tomatoes here too. 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna got more growing. These are my cherry tomatoes. When it came to cherry tomatoes, I never got the entire vine filled with tomatoes. It was only like maybe 3 or 4, most of the time 3. But look at all these tomatoes I'm getting right here. You know what I mean? There's more growing right there. These guys already blowing up and they're growing now. I gotta get rid of that sucker right there. Let me do it right now. Don't want this shit to grow. Don't want the plant to try to concentrate on growing this stuff. Trying to get it to focus on trying to get the flowers. Now those are yellow cherry tomato plants. These are 2 Black Beauties. I'm trying to grow 2 sugar baby watermelons because there's still time, and I want to see what kind of results I'll get on this one on my homemade soil. So let's see if I could germinate. So I could put 1 here and 1 there. I did research. I have enough size and depth to put 2 of each. 1 here, right here in the corner. at 9 and 3 o'clock. And this one is starting to grow fruit now. This one I'm not sure what kind of fruit it is. I'm not sure, but look at it. I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know where I was going to hear 9, 10, 11 tomatoes. This is barely this small. It's not high up to here. When I used to get the tomato reach all the way high, I used to get like fucking maybe 6 or 7 tomatoes, and I already got a bunch of so far. So this is going to be a really good harvest, and we're not even full grown yet. You know, this is great. Same thing with the chili, you know. I mixed all the soil I had left over for my vermiculite. And my habanero plant is growing beautifully. There's a habanero plant. I already got a couple of so small little tiny Thai chili peppers that grow the little small ones. That one's the Thai chili pepper that grows long. And this one, I don't know what kind of red chili it is, but my relative bought it. And I don't know what kind of red chili it is. It looks like a bell pepper. I tell him, is that a bell pepper? No, it's a spicy red chili. Well, what's it called? And it's called an early pepper, but what is that, a bell pepper? I don't know what it is. It says it's a bell pepper. My relative says it's a hot pepper. I don't know. We'll see when it comes out. That one's growing great either way. This guy's starting to grow now, finally. The rosemary's taking a long time to get used to the soil. But all in all, this shit has been doing absolutely great. And it's one of the best looking backyards for me, because for me, what this backyard has went through over the years, this is the best it's ever looked. The only thing is a bit of an eyesore is, of course, the shed, because my relative doesn't want to get a new one. And at the time when I wasn't thinking of moving, I wanted to pitch in and put half and half to get a brand new shelter, a brand new shed, sorry. And they said, no, I don't want to spend the money. All right, cool. So that's the only eyesore I have. But all in all, dude, this backyard has looked the very best. The last time it looked this good was back in the 90s. And this backyard has went through a lot. I put a lot of hard work. And another thing too, I'm going to try to get this tree to bear fruit. It has never given us good avocado. At one time it did, but it gave us sausages looking avocados instead of a nice round plump. So I did some research. I need to buy certain white powder that is used for garden for the native soil to make it not harden, to loosen it up, and then cover it up with compost, which I'll get. And then I'm going to put the avocado citrus fertilizer, and there's a chance I could probably get this tree to bear fruit, but I'm going to have to work all this here, work all this right here, right? Remove all of the mulch, move all this, dig a small hole, and then mix all of the native soil, which I'll have here, dump it bit by bit, and mix the native soil with the powder and the compost and everything, and we'll see what happens next year. If everything goes great, then that was the biggest reason. It was the soil, the nutrients it needs. But I gotta say, all in all, this is the best it's ever had. So yeah, you know. So that's the update for my avocado. I mean, for the backyard garden. You know, I feel like maybe, well, I don't know what will happen next season. I mean, I could still use this place as a gardening. You know, because next year everything goes great, and you know, my relative could still let me grow a garden. They're just gonna have to take care of it. And I could put more containers if I want to. You know, but we'll see what happens next year. The garden will still be here, but yeah, you know, the garden's still gonna be here. Be able to grow it. So yeah, but I just may not, most likely not be around here, living here, right? So, but we'll see what happens next year. This year I'm focused on this. I'm very happy for this. Well, that's for the video, man. Later.